In the previous video, we learned how to construct a scatterplot. In this video, we extend our discussion of scatterplot by incorporating a categorical variable. If you remember from the previous video, we use a scatterplot to display the relationship between two numerical variables. For example, if we plot property value against square footage, then we anticipate a positive relationship between these two variables. That means the bigger the house, the more it's valuable. If we have a third variable in the dataset, let's say the property type can be a single family home or condominium, we can incorporate this categorical variable within the scatter plot by using different colors or symbols. And this plot is referred to as scatter plot with a categorical variable. Now we are going to use birth life data. Birth life data contains information on the following variables: country name, life expectancy in years, birth rate in percentage, GNI that represents gross national income, and one categorical variable that shows the development level of the country. In order to create a scatter plot that incorporates a categorical variable, the categorical variable should be sorted by category. Here the development variable is already sorted. As you see, the first 6 countries are developing and the last 4 ones are developed. Insert scatter plot and choose the first option. And now if you right click, you see an option, select data. And now we are going to add a series. The series name is developing. Series X values is going to be the first 6 countries' life expectancy data. And Y values is going to be the first 6 countries' birth rate. And then click OK. And one more time. This plots birth rate against life expectancy for 6 developing countries. Now we will repeat the steps for developed countries. Right click, select data, add new series, series name developed. X values this time life expectancy for the developed countries, therefore we select the last 4 countries. And Y values birth rate for the developed countries. And then click OK. This plots birth rate against life expectancy for the 4 developed countries. Next we are going to format this graph. Let's get rid of grid lines and add legend. Let's add axis title. By looking at the scatter plot, we see a negative linear relationship between birth rate and life expectancy. That means countries with lower birth rates tend to have higher life expectancy. This relationship holds true for both developing and developed countries. We also see that in general, developed countries have lower birth rates. So they clustered here, lower birth rates and higher life expectancies as compared to developing countries. Next, we are going to learn a bubble plot. A bubble plot shows the relationship between 3 numerical variables. In a bubble plot, the third numerical variable is represented by the size of the bubble. For instance, a bubble plot may plot a college student's study time against screen time and use the size of the bubble to represent the student's GPA. This bubble plot would help us understand the relationship between study time, screen time, and academic performance. In this section, we continue with birth life data. And now we will choose Insert, and here we choose Bubble. This creates a placeholder for the plot in the worksheet. And right-click, select Data, choose Add, and series X values, life expectancy, and Y values are birth rate. And finally, the bubble size represents the income of the country. And then click OK, and one more time OK. Formatting can be done by plus sign here. We can get rid of grid lines. And if you want, you can change the chart title. And you can also add legend for the series. Let's change the chart title. Next, we summarize our findings. We see that a country's birth rate and its average life expectancy display a negative linear relationship. We also see that countries with low birth rates and high life expectancies have higher GNI per capita, which is indicative of developed countries. Next, we are going to learn how to construct a line chart. A line chart displays a numerical variable as a series of data points connected by a line. A line chart is especially useful for tracking changes or trends over time. It is also easy for us to identify any major changes that happened in the past on a line chart. When we have multiple lines in the same chart, we can compare these observations on one or more dimensions. To construct a line chart, we are going to use growth value dataset, and this dataset contains annual returns in percentage for Fidelity's growth and value mutual funds from 1984 to 2018. First, we highlight the cells and then choose Insert. And here we are going to insert a line chart. And right-click and choose Select Data. And we are going to edit years from A2 through A36. Click OK. And then one more time OK. You can format data using the plus sign here. We can get rid of grid lines. And we can also change the chart title. Next, let's summarize our findings. The line chart here compares the annual returns of Fidelity Growth and annual mutual funds over a period of 35 years. In general, both funds tend to move together. You can see here, when the value fund increase, growth fund increase. When the value fund decrease, growth fund decrease as well. However, during the period of 1995-2000, which refers to the period of dot-com bubble, the technology-heavy growth funds increased dramatically compared to the value funds, as value funds tends to favor traditional companies. And after the bubble burst, we see a reversal of this trend. Next, we are going to learn how to construct a heat map. A heat map is an important visualization tool that uses color or color intensity to display relationships between variables. Heat maps are especially useful to identify combinations of the categorical variables that have economic significance. For example, we can use a heat map to show which products are the best or worst selling products at various stores. We are going to use bookstore dataset to learn how to construct a heat map. A national bookstore chain is trying to understand customer preferences at various store locations. The marketing department has acquired a list of 500 of the most recent transactions from 4 of its stores. The dataset includes the record number and next bookstore that shows which one of its 4 stores sold the book, and finally the type of book sold. The marketing department wants to visualize the data using a heat map to help it understand customer preferences at different stores. Before we can create a heat map, we need to first construct a contingency table that summarizes each type of book sold as a percentage of all books sold at each store. To construct a contingency table, we need to insert a pivot table. To insert a pivot table, click Insert and then highlight the data. Since we highlight the data, the option in Select the Table or Range is already populated with the data range A1 to C501. So we are going to place the pivot table in cell E1 and click OK. Here in the pivot table fields, we drag the bookstore to rows, book type to the columns, and records to the values. In order to read the record variable as a count, click arrow here and then choose value field settings and summarize value field by count and show values as percentage of row total and click OK. Now as you see, we have our contingency table here. We select data from F3 to K6 and from the menu we select Home, Conditional Formatting, Color Scales, and we choose the first option. The resulting table is the heat map. Excel's color scale works in descending order of magnitude. That means for the green, yellow, red color scale, green denotes the larger values, yellow denotes the medium values, and red denotes the smaller values. Let's summarize our findings. The heat map revealed that customers' book preferences differ across different store locations. For example, romans are the most popular books sold at store 2, but the least popular at store 3. And self-help books are the least popular books at store 1. The management can use this information to make decisions about how many copies of each type of book to stock at each store.